them physical activity. Just because they're getting old doesn't mean they're retarded and can't think and don't have anything to come with. We also want to create more social interaction across the generations. We want to give them the opportunity to be creative over a time period of workshops with these youngsters. Give them new experiences, give them inspiration, and also develop an understanding and respect between two generations and between two cultures. And we're talking all for the elderly people, both minority elders and ethnic Norwegian elders.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Table over there. Could one of you just share with us quite briefly whether it was an easy conversation, a difficult conversation, and any idea that you came up with which you might pursue? So that's the table in the corner.
We were thinking the same thing about combining the elderly and the but more as in we already go into an extracurricular that was there already called volunteer work, and then that's already an existing project, so it will be easy to get in there. And we think it would be good for the community, and it would bridge the gap between the generations. We would also want to make courses that could make the project develop further, so it would continue when whichever is doing the project would leave. We would also want to maybe do the project in the home of the elderly and then also in the theater, so we would get them out of the home. Anything else?
And to connect it to the regional theaters that would be also interested to have a project that is actually connected to the community work, but that you have a project that they are given to. So they will also have some financial interest to participate in it as a partner. And
So
also
is there a feeling that that this could really happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
And also
Thank you very
combined
much.
with the health and the rehabilitation in the
Health and rehabilitation.
Yeah, in the municipality sector to get the funding.
Yeah, health and well-being is a really big potential area for us to do more work in. I agree. Thank you very much. Thank you. At the middle table, somebody please that, please.
Because we're from different areas, we decided that we were just going to talk about where I work. Yes. No, not really. We talked about the area around the southern part of, it's like Grünerløkka, that sort of area around there, which is some of it is up and coming, and some of it is up there already. And there are so many different, it's more or less the same subject, but we were talking about how to link together the different institutions, because there are lots of interesting, all the art schools are up there, there are jazz clubs, there are shops, and there's the food hall, the new food hall, there's the dance house. I work for a culture church, which is a stage, and there's this youth club called X-Ray. We were just talking about how we can sort of maybe work together on a common project a couple of times a year maybe, or even just once a year, and then include different groups, like she said, the elderly. I'm going to use an example of this Netcom ad where you can go and you can take, take somebody to the movie and then you get one ticket free.
Young people.
So there were young people going to the old people's home, taking out, bringing in old people out, and that sort of connection between the X-Ray Club and the old people, or just the different invisible groups in the area, such as Blå Kors, the Blue Cross, which they take care of people with addiction problems or issues, and just sort of focusing on different groups every year and making them visible or activating them.
It struck me listening to you that for your table there's a close geographic proximity, and that it's kind of, you've started a conversation which you could have a a dedicated chat about in the future.
Well, we will.
Come together over lunch and we'll get.
But she's not from that area, so we're talking about. We also pulled out bits that she could use as well. How to make a kind of a loyalty to an area, not necessarily to a house, or but to an area. It could, like you said, it could be a bench, or it could be just something site specific that they can also use. So try and sort of transfer it so it's not just that specific area.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks. The table over here.
What we started discussing was what kind of ways one could have organise audience feedbacks and how important it is for audiences to talk about and learn
Can you speak a bit louder?
how to talk about dance and how to evaluate dance in both like as an art form, but also how to kind of engage the audience in what they have either seen or what they're going to see, and how important that is in a Norwegian context. Is there anything more we want to add? But no, there were different examples, and we also had, from Southwest Dance, Deryck commenting on this and how much they do that in also the school work in the Southwest Dance, and how much that is an important part of developing knowledge about dance, and also not and turning the audience into a more active participator in terms of reflecting on dance. That was our main contribution.
Great, thank you. And this table here.
Well, we tried to be a bit honest to ourselves, because we, instead of sort of deviating too much from the mandate that we have, which is to create high quality contemporary art, dance and art, we decided to see what can we do and not compromise this, and this has this as a starting point. And we talked about different groups, and then Lena had a very good idea. She said something about having an overall interpretive project or interpretation, tolkningsproject, maybe over several years, that we do our art, but we invite, and we start to talk about which groups that we could invite, and really different groups that, and the good thing about dance is it's a universal language. You don't need to understand Norwegian. So maybe the marketing has to deal with some other languages in that. But if we can manage to get in deaf people, people seeking, the refugees, immigrants, all these people, maybe from different cultures, and somehow accommodate their needs, because they might not be able to sit in the same room as, we have to split the genders or something like this. You have to find out before you invite. And then afterwards, and this is the sort of overall, the project that comes sort of over, is this interpretation. And we get different interpretations from all these people, because we have experienced that some other people than ourselves in our culture will see something different out of a performance, which is maybe a bit, it's not narrative, it's not, and you can write down all these things. You can maybe even put them around the table and close the door, as you say, create a safe setting and say, this is Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, And then, what if you get one sort of crazy interpretation from one group, another crazy, that doesn't have to be crazy, but completely different interpretation from the next, and so on and so forth. And you can easily exchange this between houses, venues, because we want to bring them into our venue, because we can't really go out, because we have to do what we have to do, and we tour and we practice, and this is what we do. It wouldn't, so we could easily go on tour, and then we could find in Stavanger, for instance, the same type of group, collaborate with Zannah's Kulturhus or someone else, and we could do this all over the place, actually. And what we would get back is that all these different interpretations would be quite interesting, and it would add a lot to the communication department, so that when we write our texts, we can maybe leave the cliches out a little bit, because we all know the time and space cliches, and it's the same critics all over. We know our critics. There's never any surprises usually. when it comes to, and then we thought if we keep, if this is happening in our venue.
One more point, I think, and then then we'll draw to a close. So, do you mind if I just?
Do you think the cost thing?
Yeah, I'll go on then.
Yeah, the venue thing was that if we then managed to get these people into the venue, they've already been there. So that we sort of managed to overcome that threshold, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not, and one of the main thing also, it's not that we say, oh, poor you, we want to, accommodate something. But what we do want is that we really want to ask you a question. This is a science project. We really need your help. Can you come and join us for something? So it wouldn't be a social project. It would be our art project. And financially, it could possibly, it would cost somebody to do this, but it could also be a science project for somebody in an educational institution, a master's degree, a PhD, something like this. Or it could be, or we could split the cost between several areas or something like this. So it wouldn't have to cost too much.
Great. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. So well done, everybody. There are germs of ideas that could happen, discussions which are really key to how you make this happen. And I know on this table there was the huge geographic kind of divide between different venues and distance and cost and the lack of capacity to deal with more work and branching out into work like this. And that is common. That is common to all of us. And I think one of the things that Liver has been saying is about whose strategy is it? Is it our strategy as dance workers? Is it a funder's strategy? And I would kind of like you just to reflect on that before you go into your final discussion, where I think more people are going to be joining you, and you'll be free to speak only in Norwegian and not have to pander to us English idiots. But take into that some really good questions and some really good thoughts about how some of these programs can be made to happen and enabled to happen. Where might the money come from? How might you as organisations collaborate directly on making something happen? And explore that a bit more in your discussion later. So thank you for your time, thank you for your energy in the discussion. Have some coffee and caffeine to top up for your next discussion. And enjoy Ice Hot Dance Festival later in the week.
Thank you.